Hey y'all, welcome back to Colored Couch Conversations, a podcast where I have intimate conversations with women of color on my couch. Today, my guest and I will discuss COVID, breakups in the Keep It Real corner, and Cabernet. Maybe. I'm your host, Jasmine W., and my guest today is an LA-based writer and producer at one of the largest digital media companies in the world, working on unscripted programming. Previously, she produced and directed food and travel videos for Food.com, Tastemade, and the Food Network. Most recently, she wrote Wines and Signs, a wine zine for people who want to learn the basics about wine in a fun and casual way. Give it up for my guest, Taylor Henriquez.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So glad to have you, Taylor. Did I say your last name right?
You said my last, I don't even remember. I don't say my last name correctly. The H is supposed to be silent, so it's supposed to be Henriquez.
Cool. Yeah. Where's your last name from?
My dad's family is from Panama.
Yes.
Yes. When I was a kid, or not even a kid, but when I was a teenager and I couldn't get into like the 21 up clubs, I used to go to a lot of salsa clubs, and the DJ would always, shout out countries like, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Mexico. They would never say Panama. So I was just like, Panama.
Right. People tend to forget about Panama all the time.
They do. And it was a huge port, back in the 20th century. And
I didn't even know Panama existed until I was like in high school, because a guy that I went to high school with, his family was from Panama. He was Panamanian. He was a black dude. He grew up here. But I was like, what is Panama? What is that?
I mean, like for the longest time, like I always knew my background was Panamanian from my dad's side, but like I had never been to Panama. I would always hear like, stories from my grandparents, and I only went to Panama like in 2016. So it was a new experience for me too.
Wow, that's dope. Well, y'all, Taylor is my friend. I'm so excited to have her on the podcast. Listen, we always start the podcast with a quote of the day. And you know this quote because you chose it, Taylor. And it's, do not expect to receive the love from someone else you do not give yourself, by Bell Hooks, from her book, All About Love. What does this quote mean to you? Why did you choose it?
I chose this quote because for the longest time, I was looking for traits that I should have looked for in myself, but I was seeking to receive from a partner. And it doesn't work that way. So this is a really good book. Bell Hooks is a wonderful author, feminist activist, cultural critic, about like the working definition of love. So I highly, highly recommend it. It's not just about romantic love. It's about the love that you have for yourself, the love that you have with your family, your friends. Really great book.
Wow. Okay, so Bell Hooks, we've had a couple of quotes from her before in the past. I have yet to read anything by her, but I need to. I buy a lot of books, girl, and don't read them. That's what I do. I start them and never finish.
Yeah, same. And this is the first book that I read from Bell Hooks, so I'm not like a Bell Hooks expert. I'm not like quoting her like on the daily, but that book, All About Love, is something that like I have highlighted notes. It's great.
Yeah. So what's one thing, even if you want to give an example from your most recent situationship or something further in the past, but what's an example of an attribute that you look for in someone else that you're like, oh, no, I should actually be working on this for myself?
Yeah. I think that being giving, being generous with my time is something that I looked for in a partner, but I was unwilling to give myself. Very independent, and I know how to be by myself, probably because I was an only child for 10 years before my little brother came around. So like I know how to entertain myself. And I'm also very much like, I don't need a man. I want a partner. I want a partner or relationship, but I don't need one. It's just like, it's a two-way street when it comes to like giving your time and giving yourself to someone. So meaning like, spending time with people, quality time. I realized that quality time was like my love language. So yeah, it's like one of the big things for me was giving the things that I wanted to receive in return.
Yeah, yeah. That's such a good note because it just brings me back to you know how you see people online and they're like, I need a man to have, he need to make $8,500,000 a year, and he gotta have time for me and no kids, but I'm gonna bring my 2 kids, and I only make $50K. But it's like,
and I used to be that way too, kind of really superficial. I was like, he needs to be 6'2", and I was just I don't no, not really. It doesn't hurt, but I know, I was you're 5'8", okay, that's fine, whatever.
Okay, so we always get into random questions, and the random questions just help us get to know you a little bit better. The first question I wanted to ask you is kind of based on the quote. Have you ever expected love or anything from someone that you didn't get back?
So usually I'm that person who's giving anything. Yeah, that's me. That's my MO. And with this past situationship, which I should call it's a relationship. No matter situationship is a word that you use when you're trying to make something not as big as it was. But you come across so many people, everything's a relationship. This is what happened. I was chased and was I don't know if I'm really into it in the beginning. And then I started catching feelings. And then the story changed. I was the one chasing. And that did not feel good. So I feel I've been in both, perhaps.
I don't know. I was dating, I was pretty forward. And there have been a few times where I didn't love anybody, but I liked people and they didn't really like me back.
Yeah. I suffer from just a huge fear of rejection, which it's a normal, guys are out here just getting rejected left and right, and they just keep it moving, usually. So, and without, putting yourself out there, that I've learned, you don't reap the reward of potential love. And so. Yeah.
But, we're not guys. Men can think that they could walk out and say, you know what, I think I can scale that building. I think I probably could. That's how men think. Women, we don't naturally think that way. We don't naturally think we can accomplish anything. So for a woman to get rejected left and right, I don't know if it affects our self-esteem more or if we just show it more. But it hurts our feelings.
It does. Yeah, men have wildly inflated self-confidence for the most part.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think I would fare well being rejected left and right. I would further retreat in my shell, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Me too. We're getting very intimate. I don't know if you guys understand how vulnerable this is. This episode gonna be called 2 Vulnerable Bitches or something like that. Okay, y'all. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Taylor about wine and travel. So let's take a quick break. Hey y'all, welcome back to Colored Couch Conversations. I'm sitting with Taylor Henriquez. And why did Taylor just tell me that it's her mini magazine is Wine Zine Zine, which is a mini magazine, but I did not know that. So thank you for correcting me.
It's zine is sort of a shorthand word for magazine. So yeah, it's a little magazine.
Well, girl, educate me because I didn't know. Y'all can purchase Wine Zine, her Wine Zine, by clicking on the link in her bio on Instagram. And while you're there, go ahead and follow her at Taylor Henriquez. That's TaylorHenriquez. So yeah, follow her on Instagram, and she shares all of her food. She does a lot of cooking, food, wine, and everything. Fine, honey. And she's fine too, honey, because I don't know if she works out every day or what she does, but...
You're too kind.
Girl, no, I've seen it. Okay, well, listen, I wanted to get into some wine talk with you because I'll be very honest. I consider myself pretty sophisticated, but I'm not a wine expert, and you love wine a lot. So how did you get into it?
Yeah, my first job when I moved to LA about 6 years ago, was at a PR firm that specialized in wineries and had wine producers as their clients. But I got the bulk of my knowledge from working as a server at a wine bar in Santa Monica called Esther's, and then working at a wine retail shop in Culver City called Bar and Garden. And just like a lot of self-education as well, and a lot of drinking because wine's fun.
Yeah. Wine is fun, but I feel like I'm a stereotypical Black woman who only likes to drink the sweet shit.
Yeah.
How do you overcome and like, and you know, I don't only like to drink the sweet stuff. Let me be clear. I just enjoy drinking the sweet stuff more than I do the other things. How do you expand your palate?
I mean, honestly, just by drinking more wine.
Yeah.
And I also want to just mention, like, there's nothing wrong with drinking like sweet wine. Like, so are a lot of sweet wines out there that are delicious. It's okay to drink sweet wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Experiment with Rieslings. They can be both sweet and dry.
Yeah.
That's a good entry way to drink a grape that's perhaps familiar, and then see what it tastes like dry.
See, listen, I worked as a server for 5 years or so, from high school to college. I don't think you understand what I mean when I say I like sweet wines. Kool-Aid, Taylor, okay? I have a sweet tooth. But no, okay, I don't know if you've ever had plum wine, like Asian plum wine.
Is it good?
It's really good because I worked at P.F. Chang's and they had this Asian plum wine, you know, and I still drink it. It's hard to find. I think you can only get it at Gelson's. But or have you ever had or enjoy like port wine?
Ooh, I don't. But yeah, okay, noted. Port's actually really good with like a chocolate dessert.
Yeah.
You want to like pair chocolate with Cabernet Sauvignon, but
yeah.
Like the worst pairing. Yeah, port's a really good one.
Yeah, and it's hella sweet, girl.
Mm-hmm. I like Moscato. I like Riesling.
Yeah.
I've just been like fortunate to like live in places where I can like pick up a bottle at like a wine specialty store, and so the Moscatos aren't like sickeningly sweet.
Yeah.
Have like a little bit of what's called residual sugar. So it's been very pleasant.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'd love to know what is your favorite wine? Like if you had to choose one that you could drink every day, what would you choose?
Ooh, I would choose a Gamay from Beaujolais. It's a light-bodied red wine that you can serve chilled. It's delicious during the summer. Like if you pick it up for like a barbecue, that's definitely a great option. A holiday meal, Beaujolais is really good because it has high acidity. It's fruit forward. It's not sweet, but it's something that you can literally like keep drinking. Drink responsibly, but like it has a low alcohol level, and it's delicious. And you can find it at Trader Joe's. You can find it at like, you know, specialty wine retailers. So it's a pretty common wine.
A Gamay Beaujolais?
So Gamay is the grape, but if it's made in France in a region called Beaujolais, then it'll be under that label. But you might be able to find Gamays from California. They'll just be labeled on the bottle as Gamay versus Beaujolais.
Girl, I don't even know those words. We have to go wine tasting when the world opens up. We really do. Because I also want to sit and drink wine with someone who can just keep it plain for me, okay? Because I don't want to hear, oh, there are slight notes of cherry pickle. I don't have time for that. Just keep it plain, you know?
No, I think that's why I wrote Wines and Science, because wine definitely has a reputation for being, or learning about wine has a reputation for being very pretentious and not accessible. And wine is any other food product.
Yeah.
So, you know, you kind of have to democratize it a little bit. It's fun.
It is fun. I'm going to make sure I pick up one of your books. Maybe I'll just come by and pick it up from you and pay you for it. So I don't have to wait on shipping. Okay. I guess my last random question is, if you could travel anywhere to eat anything, where would you go? What would you eat?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably go to Paris. I've only been once, but I went to this like cafe and I got the best ham sandwich that I've ever tasted. I think it was called, and I'm going to mispronounce this pronunciation because I don't speak French, jabon de bœuf. It's like a ham and butter sandwich on a baguette. It was delicious. It was so simple. It had like little cornichon pickles. I stayed in France or Paris for like 5 days. I went twice to get a ham sandwich. I would go there in a heartbeat.
I love that. I've never been to France.
Man, Jasmine, like when the world opens up, we gotta go in our little pod, just like everywhere.
We do.
Hit the streets.
You know what? I don't eat meat anymore. Or if I do, it's very, very seldomly. But one of the best meals that I ever had was I went to Glasgow, Scotland, and they have the best Indian food. And I got this pizza that had lamb meat on it, girl.
Ooh, that's interesting.
It was for work. I threw a party. It was very San Francisco, but I threw a party in this house that all the employees that were living there at the time stayed in. And I went to the house and planned and got everything ready. It was just from like a Indian pizza place or something like that. I remember taking meat home in a napkin back to my hotel room and put it in my pocket so I could eat that lamb meat later on, girl. It was that good. Cold. No, not even warmed up. Just cold in a napkin. It's delicious.
I would have loved to have seen that. So you're telling me you went home with meat in your pocket, rolled up in a napkin, and ate it the next day cold.
I ate it that night, girl, like a Black grandmother.
No sauce, just the meat.
Just the meat. Just the meat.
I love that.
Okay, y'all, we're going to take one more quick break, and we're coming back. We're going to talk to Taylor Henriquez about the Dallas restaurant owner that did not appreciate twerking in his establishment, and an iconic trio that has come out just in time for the holidays. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Colored Couch Conversations. That was our last break, y'all, but make sure you follow Taylor Henriquez with an H. So that's TaylorHenriquez on Instagram, and pick up her Wines and Signs Zine. Now, we are talking about trending topics now, and I asked Taylor to watch this clip. You guys, if you haven't watched it, just Google, I forgot the name of the restaurant, but let me find it. Hold on. Oh, yeah, True Kitchen Cocktails with a K in Dallas. And the story will come up. So a Dallas restaurant owner, he's a Black, okay? It's a Black establishment, or it's a Black owned restaurant with a lot of Black patrons, and they were playing hip hop music, and he basically came over and said he did not appreciate a few female patrons twerking in his establishment. Taylor, you watched the video. What are your thoughts on his point of view?
Ooh, oh man. The biggest thought was his sort of reasoning behind not wanting his customers to twerk, was that he wants this to be a safe place for Black people to, come and eat. And he really put the onus on the women customers. And he sort of masked it with like, I just want you guys to be respected by the, male customers that I have here. And I was just like, it just felt cheap.
Yeah.
The women. But also like my whole thing is, let the people twerk.
I think I have a different perspective for a couple of reasons. Listen, I don't like what he said or how he said it. First of all, he said, if you don't like it, get the fuck out of my restaurant.
That part. I was so unnecessary.
And you could hear, Black people don't like that. As soon as he said it, all the Black people said, oh. First of all, if you want me to have some class, you have to have class.
Very true.
Because as soon as you start cussing, baby, where's the class?
Right. Exactly. The hypocrisy.
Right. The only reason, listen, I talked to my mom about this last night too, and I said if he had come over and said, listen, you guys, I want Black people to have a safe space, a place that we can come and eat and everything. I don't want the twerking. Like, let's just keep it classy. If he had just said that, it's his restaurant.
Right. Yes. He can do whatever he wants.
It's fine. And because I am from Dallas, I will say that the one thing that me and my friend used to say all the time is you can go to Dallas and go to a club that's you just have an excellent time. And then when the wrong people find out about it, a month later, it's hood and you can't even go there no more. So that's one thing I think he's trying to prevent from his restaurant. But the way he went about it, I did not like it. And you touched on a good point that I think a lot of people glazed over is he said, how can I expect the men to respect you in this establishment if you're not respecting yourself or something similar? What?
Oh, he took it there.
He did.
Well, I won't be frequenting True Kitchen and Cocktails with the next time I go to Dallas. Because the misogyny was just apparent there. But I kind of want to push back on the whole, and listen, like, again, like we stated, like, this is his private restaurant or his restaurant. Like, he can do whatever he wants. But, you know, providing Black people with a safe space to eat and to be themselves is really important, as he said. So if people, in my opinion, if I had a restaurant, if people wanted to twerk, let them twerk, because no one's twerking at Cracker Barrel. No one's twerking at Olive Garden. You know, like, let them twerk. I probably wouldn't because you don't want to see me twerk, but, you know, also I'm from Atlanta, so it's just like, people do actually twerk. Like, I've seen people twerk at, like, you know, Applebee's.
That is such a good point, though. It's like, if you creating a space for us, create it for us and let us twerk. And on Friday nights, we might twerk, and on Sundays, we probably won't during brunch, or maybe we will. Who knows?
Sure. I do believe there is, like, perhaps a time and a place. So if you're having a gospel brunch on a Sunday, yes, I'm going to need you to be in your chair for the duration of the meal. Yeah, on a Friday, whatever.
But I guess the question, how do you, there are some people who don't know that there's a time and a place. So how do you decipher? How do you tell people on Fridays that, like, let them twerk. They're having a good time. Everybody's having a good time. And then the ladies come in on Sunday, but the girls come in who didn't go to church, and they twerking on the left, and the ladies on Sundays are never going to come back because the girls on the left are twerking, so the ladies on the right are not twerking. So how do you manage that, you know?
I don't know. That's a really great question. I don't know. I don't know.
A lot of the comments, I was watching this one girl, I just searched on YouTube, and a lot of the comments said, you know, some people just don't know that there's, like, a time and a place for everything. Like, it's a restaurant and not a club. But I don't know. It's a really tough situation. But he has a lot of support because I don't know why. There's just a lot of Black women in the South are just like, okay.
Sure. But, like, also, I kind of also want to push back. Like, the lines are a little bit blurred. Especially, like, if this is, like, a boozy brunch and you have a DJ in the corner playing, you know, the baby. Like, what do you expect? Like, you just expect me to just do this in my seat? Like, no, it's a turn up. And with clubs in most places closed, I don't know what it's like in Texas. You know, the restaurant is sort of like, has been like the catch-all for, you know, our activities that we used to do. It's a bar, it's a club if there's music. So I don't know what he expected it to be.
That is such a good point too, because Meg Thee Stallion was playing, and what do you think is gonna what?
What?
It's Meg. What does Meg do? What is Meg known for? So my question for you, Taylor, is what do you play if you don't want people to twerk? Classical?
I guess so. Classical music. I think, you know, some Kirk Franklin. I don't know.
Not Kirk.
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing Meg Thee Stallion. That's for sure.
Exactly. All right, well, listen, our next random topic is it's Christmas time, which means Mariah is booked and busy, okay? This is her holiday. She was already trending on Twitter yesterday because she released Oh Santa last night with Jennifer Hudson and Ariana Grande. Now, I wanted to bring this up because Mariah a few years ago said that she doesn't know Ariana Grande. She don't know who that is.
Mariah doesn't know a lot of people. Got some amnesia.
It was just some. You're Mariah. You can be shady. You're Mariah. Okay. Just the way we allowed Prince to be shady. But I wanted to know: have you ever had a friendship end and then start again? Like, Ariana seems sweet, so she's probably like, girl, it's fine, I'm gonna come be on the song, even though you tried to play me a few years ago by pretending you didn't know me. But have you ever made up with somebody who, or had somebody want to make up with you after you guys have disrespected one another or something like that? Like,
yes, I have definitely had a few friendship breakups in my past that we've settled our differences and now we're friends again. Yeah, it's a process for sure.
Wow, that's crazy because that's not me. That's not my personality.
What do you mean? Would you never have a friendship breakup? You would just sort of ghost, go your separate ways, or you would never make up?
I'm not one on making up. And me and Taylor chatted a little bit before the podcast, but I'm not one to get easily upset or offended. So, if you really do something to where I don't want to make up with you, I'm not making up with you.
You know what? This is gonna sound very kind of woo-woo, but I do believe the people that are meant to be in my life will be in my life, and if that means coming back together with somebody, we do for a reason. I leave very few things up to chance.
Yeah.
But with Ariana, I don't know, make your dollar. You know, I wouldn't be tripping over that. I'd be like, oh, Mariah didn't know me 3-4 years ago, whatever. Let's make a hit song because Mariah puts out the hits.
Yeah, exactly. In Ariana's case, it's business.
Oh yeah.
So she gonna keep it moving. She gonna make her coin. And who would turn down being on a song with Mariah and Jennifer Hudson? It's just legendary. So, and plus, if I was Ariana, a part of me would just want to get on the song to show Mariah, baby, these vocals is coming at you, honey. So don't even try to play me.
Yes. Exactly. 100%. 100. You know what? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to say this, but Ariana Grande's first single, The Way, what was that one? I love the way. Don't make me sing it. I thought it was Mariah for a tiny second. She really played us. I was like, oh my God, Mariah came out with this really new hit song, and I saw it was Ariana. I was like, okay.
That's why I think Mariah shaded her, because everybody used to compare them, saying she's the new Mariah. And I think Mariah's got a little bit I'm still here. No, who is this? I don't even know who that is. She got a little threatened, actually.
Probably. Yeah, I can see it.
Mariah is my all-time favorite female artist, I'll say. She's my all-time favorite female artist, and a lot of times people are shocked, over Beyonce? Yes, because Mariah's Beyonce's favorite. So, who is your all-time favorite artist, or female or male artist? Either one. I don't want to put too much pressure on you, so you can categorize it however you want.
I was actually going to say Mariah. I grew up with Mariah, but because you said Mariah, let's make this a little bit more fun. I grew up a big Selena fan. Selena Quintanilla Perez. Not Selena Gomez. Selena.
Girl, who is Selena Gomez? I'm just playing, but of course.
Yeah, so after seeing the movie, I knew of Selena from the movie. That's where it started. But then I started getting her tapes. So I would sing very terrible Spanish and, go around the house, botching up words, trying to on the floor. And I was the ultimate Selena stan at 10 years old, getting VHS tapes of her biographies. And I'm so excited because her new, the new series Selena is premiering, I think, this weekend on Netflix. So
are you going to binge?
Of course. Yeah, I have a huge poster in my living room of Selena.
No, Selena's dope. I stand her for a while in Middle school.
Yeah. I come across people like from time to time though when I bring her up and they're like, ooh, Selena?
Like they don't know who that is?
What? First of all, you never seen Selena like in 11th grade Spanish class? Because that movie was on constantly at school. But yeah.
And J-Lo killed that. I'm not even gonna lie. That was one of my favorite J-Lo movies. I think she did a good job. What do you think? You rolled your eyes a little bit.
Oh man, you pick up on that. Really great. Like, okay, so here's the thing. I think she did a wonderful job. J-Lo was amazing. Like, she lip synced so good. However, I don't think that they should, and this has been said plenty of times before, I don't think that they should have used a Puerto Rican American actress to play a Mexican American actress.
Yeah.
Like, they could have found someone that was Mexican American.
Yeah. You know we wasn't woke like that back then.
Not in 1997. No. But I believe the Netflix series does have a Mexican American actor as Selena. So.
Okay, good. You know, that's been coming up a lot. And I think that even like me as a creator and you as a creator, it's like something I think I'm just starting to realize how important it is to book people. Of course, you don't want a black person, a black icon to be played by a white person or an Asian icon to be played by a white person, which has happened so many times. But I never think about, oh, well, you know, it's okay if a Latina girl plays a Latina girl, right? Like, it's like, no, there's so many Mexican girls out here that act, sing, that could play her.
100%. Yeah. Also, you know, even just like interracially, for example, like Zoe Saldana playing the part of Nina Simone. They darkened her skin. They gave her prosthetics for her nose. That could have been played by a darker skinned actress.
Yeah.
Easily.
What? There's other actresses that look more like her, actually.
It just feels lazy.
Mm-hmm.
It feels really lazy.
I think, I don't remember who it was, and I'm sorry I don't know who it was, but I'm still going to say it. There was a singer who just put out, I don't know if it was Sia or somebody who just put out a movie about a girl with disabilities, and the main actor was played by a popular like Instagram influencer or somebody who did not have disabilities, and I think she plays somebody who has autism.
Okay.
And everybody on Twitter went in.
Yeah.
It's like, how could you book somebody who doesn't have disabilities for the main character? And then the singer came out and said, well, there are 12 or 13 people in the movie that have disabilities, and they were like, but not the main character, and that's the most important person.
Also, that's a really good point that you make about like hiring actors who have disabilities who are playing with disabilities on screen. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, but it's
don't have Zendaya playing my life story. I'll need the chocolate girl. All right, y'all. Well, y'all know at the end of this episode, we always give advice in what I like to call the Keep It Real Corner. This is a real Instagram DM. Taylor, so I'd love to hear your point of view. And Taylor actually gives really excellent advice, okay? She's a straight shooter like me. So, interested to see what you are going to say. So they said, I'm struggling to get over my ex who told me 3 months into quarantine that it is over and they are already moving on social media. I still follow him and I see him living his best life. We were together 2 years. Any tips for moving on during COVID? And Taylor, you had a breakup this
okay, I'm sorry that happened, especially during COVID. That's really rough. You got to stop following him on social media. Like, you just cannot follow him. The person that I was dating, I still follow him because I want to be petty, but he's blocked. So it's kind of like I never existed on social media.
Hold on, what do you mean he's blocked? So he can't see your stuff, but you can see his?
Shoot, how does that work? Like, if he tries to type in my name, Taylor Henriquez, it'll just look like I don't exist anymore. Like, I've deleted my account. So he would have to, like, ask another person to, like, look me up to figure out that he's been blocked.
No, I think if you blocked him, you can't see his stuff. Like, his page, all his pictures and stuff go black.
Yeah.
And then they can't look you up.
Block him. Unfollow. And who knows if he's, like, leading his, like, best life. Like, Instagram is such a facade, but I don't think you need to put yourself through the torture of seeing his highlight reel. Focus on, healing yourself instead of worrying about him. But that's easier said than done.
Yeah. How do you heal yourself?
Ooh.
I think we always say that, but we never give an explanation. How?
Therapy. For me specifically, I've been in therapy for a while now, like before, the situationship breakup. And like the book, like doing a lot of like reflecting through reading a lot of the self-helpy books, like All About Love, the Four Agreements, and doing like a lot of journaling and just like practicing gratitude and mindfulness. So that's how I've helped heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great advice. One thing that I always say, I get asked similar questions like this, like when I go live on TikTok and stuff, is like, I'm like, what's one thing that you really want to do that people would like laugh at you or you're afraid to do because you might be feeling insecure or whatever? Do it. You could be like, oh, I want to start sewing, but you might be afraid to say that out loud. Or you might, oh, I want to start skateboarding, and you're 35, and you might be like, oh, that's stupid. No, just do it. Just start.
Yeah. There's so much fear surrounding, doing new things and feeling as if like you're not going to be good at them.
Yeah.
And you're not. You are not going to be good at something that you just start, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You gotta release the perfectionism.
Well, I hope that helps. Block them, no, sis. I don't know what to tell you about that. You should have been done that, but
yes, stop scrolling. But, focus on you. Focus on you. You've been in a relationship for 2 years. I'm sure, perhaps you haven't done some things that maybe you put on the back burner because you were focused on the relationship. So do you reach out to friends that you haven't talked to and who knows how long? So yeah.
Exactly. Write a book, girl. All right, Taylor. Well, I've enjoyed this episode. It's been actually, this episode to me is what I think about when I think about like Colored Couch Conversations. So it's very random. It's very like real. So I love that. How can we keep up with you? Tell us about everything you have going on.
Yeah, you can keep up with me on Instagram, as you said. There you can buy the zine, Wines and Signs. Might be doing another zine, which is sort of like a part 2. So part 1 was sort of the basic guide about wine. Part 2, we might get into like some more detail. But I wrote a short film recently, and so I'm looking to get that made once the world opens up again. So look out for that. And yeah, I'm just trying to do some more self-reflection. 2021 is going to be a great year.
Yeah. Are you doing any baking right now, or are you tired of it?
Ooh, I have all the ingredients to make cinnamon rolls. So that is on my list to make. I think maybe this weekend or next.
Yes. Well, I enjoyed having you on the podcast. Make sure y'all follow her on Instagram because she does show her treats on there sometimes. And I just like to watch other people bake because I'm terrible at it myself.
I'll have to send you some.
Girl, I'll come get them.
Yes.
I will. I'll come get the cinnamon rolls and your wine zine.
My zine, yeah.
Oh, your wine zine.
It's like, honestly though, like it's kind of catchy. Wines and Signs zine.
It is. That's why I keep saying it. And plus, I think I'm a little dumb, but girl, I don't know. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe on the platform that you're listening on right now. And if you love Colored Couch Conversations, make sure to tell someone about this show, okay? Do not be selfish. You can follow us on Instagram at Colored Couch Conversations and watch the show on my YouTube channel. That's Comedian Jasmine W on YouTube, spelled Jazmyn. Thanks to my dad, and thanks to Taylor for being on the show.